Welcome to the Kendo and Italia podcast in this English language version. Enjoy listening.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission, as always, is to really distill complex ideas from challenging source material, make you smarter, better prepared. And today, we're immersing ourselves in philosophy, specifically the philosophy hidden inside Japanese martial arts, Kendo, the way of the sword.
That's right. And our source today is, well, it's based on a pretty intensive seminar by Takuya Murata back in February 2023. It really centered on two key Japanese concepts from Kendo, Semé and Tamé.
And the core theme we're exploring, it's this idea of a lifelong journey, continuous self-improvement, which you achieve by constantly looking for the deeper meaning, the real value in what you're doing, and then consciously improving it. It's about waking up, really.
Exactly. And for you listening, the mission here is to see that Semé and Tamé, they aren't just fight techniques, not at all. They're tools. Tools for managing cause and effect, inga, as it's called in Japanese, and, well, pretty much every part of your life. A difficult conversation, planning a project, you name it.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then, starting with Seme. Now, this Kendo term, it translates roughly to pressure, right? Both psychological and physical pressure on an opponent.
Yeah, that's the basic idea.
Our sources suggest, though, that while almost everyone in martial arts learns the word, very few really grasp its full strategic weight. It gets kind of simplified.
Totally. Often just reduced to be aggressive or push forward.
Yeah, just move forward. But that's where this gets interesting.
Right, because Murata Sensei's analysis, it synthesizes Seme into three distinct parts. He calls them the 3 Ps. Translated, they are pressure, penetration, and provocation.
Pressure, penetration, provocation.
Okay. And the key insight really is that these aren't just physical actions. They're psychological strategies designed to destabilize the other person.
Okay, so the 3 Ps, it sounds like a way to just rush in, overwhelm someone. But, and this is what jumped out at me from source material, the goal of effective Seme is wait for it to make the opponent start first. That seems completely backward. Isn't speed key in Kendo?
Yeah.
In any fight. How can starting first be like a death sentence?
That's the paradox, isn't it? And it's why the philosophy is frankly more important than just the physical technique. Murata Sensei often paraphrases this old Japanese saying, something like, whoever starts first is a dead man.
Wow. Okay, why?
The danger isn't about being slow. It's that starting first prematurely is usually a reaction. It's born out of fear or being destabilized by the opponent's seme, their pressure.
So you're reacting to their cause.
Exactly. You're committing to an effect that they created. You've lost control of the inga, the cause-effect flow, and this ties directly into the philosophical bit about seeing. We need to distinguish two kinds of seeing here.
Okay.
First, there's just physical sight, watching their body, their hands, the obvious stuff, guarding the exterior. But the real effectiveness comes from the second type. It's sometimes called pre-seeing or seeing inside, like a third eye.
Seeing inside.
Yeah.
Perceiving intent.
Precisely. Perceiving their intention before it becomes a physical action. Developing that heightened intuition, you might say.
So if I apply the 3 Ps, pressure, penetration, provocation effectively, I'm not just watching their sword. I'm creating a situation where their intent becomes almost transparent.
Yes.
Their move isn't sudden or unexpected anymore. It's a predictable response to the environment, the pressure cooker I created.
That's it, exactly. Your winning move isn't just about being faster. It's a result of your pressure forcing their hand in a way you foresaw. And that's the core lesson for managing in Garen life. You want to be the cause, the manager of the situation, not just reacting.
Constantly putting out fires.
Right. If you're always just reacting to emails, deadlines, whatever life throws at you, you're just an effect. Seme is the strategy to make yourself the cause.
Okay, so we've got Seme applying pressure, being the cause. But what if you're up against someone who's also really good at this?
A common scenario at higher levels.
Yeah. What if both people are applying the same intense pressure, penetration, provocation? What happens then?
You hit a stalemate, a kind of mutual paralysis, intense external tension, but nobody moves.
Because both know starting first in that situation is suicide.
Precisely. It's a dead stop. And that's where the second concept, Tame, comes in. It becomes the deciding factor.
And Tame isn't external like Seme. It's internal, right? An internal state.
Exactly. It's the internal force that stops that stalemate from just becoming passive waiting, inertia. Murata Sensei also breaks Tame down, this time into the 3 A's: accumulate energy, increase sensitivity, and prepare the body. or maybe ignite the body.
Accumulate, increase, prepare. Okay, so this is the subtle inner work you do while outwardly maybe nothing's happening.
Correct. Now, the common metaphor people use for Tame is a dam holding back water, visualizing that restrained power.
I've heard that one. Makes sense. Seems intuitive.
It does, but it's often misunderstood. Critically misunderstood, actually.
How so?
People think it means passively waiting, just holding on. But that view needs to be, well, rejected. If the dam is just a passive wall, just inertly taking the water's pressure, eventually it'll break. It gets overwhelmed.
Ah, okay. So Tame isn't static? It can't be.
No, it has to be understood as tension in active equilibrium. It's dynamic, constantly building, but controlled.
Active equilibrium. I like that. Like an architectural arch. It looks stable, but every stone is actively pushing, creating this immense contained tension.
That's a great analogy. Or think of a wave like a surfer sees it, it swells, holds its shape, all that power suspended.
Waiting for the perfect moment to crash, not just collapsing.
Exactly. It's holding potential, ready to be unleashed with maximum effect. It's not passive waiting, it's active readiness.
And that increased sensitivity part of the 3As.
Yeah.
That must be crucial here, especially outside of actual combat.
Absolutely. In a tense meeting, say, you maintain, Tame, that active internal balance. You're not just sitting there silently.
You're accumulating energy by listening. Processing.
Yes. Deeply listening, processing, increasing your sensitivity to the tiny cues the other side might be giving off because of your Seme, your subtle pressure.
So accumulating energy isn't just physical tension, it's cognitive space. Giving yourself time to integrate everything you're picking up.
Instead of blurting out the first reaction.
Right. It's internal readiness built on awareness, not just waiting for permission. And that lets you act decisively the instant the opening appears.
That active increasing tension, that's the key.
Okay, let's pivot a bit, because these ideas, Semé, Tamé, they feel bigger than just Kendo.
Oh, absolutely.
They seem like a really high-level way to approach almost any challenge, but only if we actually do something with them, right? Not just understand them intellectually.
Yes, that's crucial. There's a quote, I think, from the source material mentioning the French writer Rémy de Gourmont.
Ah, yeah.
He said something like, intelligence is great for judging an act afterwards, but it's useless for actually performing it.
So knowing the 3 Ps and 3 As is step one. Putting them into reality, that's where the real learning happens.
Exactly. Concepts have to be lived, and you have to apply them everywhere. In Kendo, sure. In kata forms, jigeko, sparring, GI matches, studying technique.
But also outside the dojo.
Yes. Crucially, in daily life, that's the whole point of the way. The dojo is everywhere.
So if we bring this back to managing things internally and externally, who's the real opponent here? It's easy to focus on the person across from you, or the looming deadline, the problem.
But the philosophy suggests the first enemy, the primary one, is always internal.
Our own mind.
Our tendency to constantly interpret everything, to judge it, label it, analyze it to death.
Instead of just living it, fully experiencing the moment.
Exactly. We get caught up interpreting the pressure instead of consciously generating it with Seme or actively managing it with Tame.
Let's make that concrete. Project management example. Deadline approaching.
Okay. You apply Seme pressure, penetration, maybe by clarifying consequences, probing weak spots in the plan. You're being the cause, but you also hold your Tame. You accumulate energy, increase sensitivity. You resist the urge to panic or micromanage.
You listen to the team's real issues.
Right. You increase sensitivity. You wait, actively holding that tension for the actual opening, the point where decisive action will work, not just flailing.
So you're managing the cause, your planned intervention, not just reacting to the effect of the ticking clock.
Precisely. It's the difference between frantically trying to solve the math problem in your head while the timer runs out.
And executing the skill you've already practiced. The mind wants to judge and fret, the philosophy says. Act with awareness.
And that's why these concepts, Seme and Tamé, like all these Buddha ideas, they have to be explored personally, practiced.
Not just understood.
They need to become the idea that actually guides your actions, your decisions in any situation. Moving from knowing the labels 3As, 3Ps to truly embodying them. So to just sort of tie this together, Seme is your outward strategy, being the cause, managing the situation through pressure, penetration, provocation.
Reading the environment.
Right. And Tame is the internal dynamic preparation, that active equilibrium built by accumulating energy, increasing sensitivity, holding power like that suspended wave we talked about. It ensures your eventual action is decisive, perfectly timed, not just reactive.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, based on all this. If the real goal isn't just to interpret endlessly, but to live fully, to manage the cause of your own effects. Think about this. What daily activity, what regular challenge are you currently overanalyzing, stuck in interpretation? What would happen if you tried applying that suspended wave of Tame instead? Stop judging the act, stop interpreting the pressure, and focus on performing with that heightened internal awareness and readiness.
Just notice the difference.
Yeah. Notice the difference between reacting to external stuff and consciously becoming the internal manager of cause and effect. That feels like the real path. The continuous improvement we started with.
Thank you for listening to this podcast.
Kendo e Italia, il podcast.